Yep, all square at Tannadice, 1-1 as the teams troop off. And let's get the half-time thoughts of Pat Nevin and the Scotland manager Craig Levein. And well, Peter Houston's luck might be in tonight, because if he'd said after half an hour it was going to be 1-1 at the interval, Craig, I think we'd have all thought you were having a laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny game, isn't it? I mean, the Hearts were the better side in the first half, and United didn't really get going at all. And I'm sure that at one point Peter would have been happy to get into the dressing room only being 1-0 down at half time. But you know, sometimes when you've got quality players on the field, even if your team isn't playing well, you know, Johnny Russell reacts so quickly to that situation to score the goal. If you've got quality players, sometimes when you're not playing well, they could dig you out a hole.
Let's get the thoughts of John McGlynn with Jonathan.
John, Hearts seemed to dominate large parts of that first half. Are you disappointed to be going in level?
Yeah, we're disappointed because I think we've done an awful lot in that half. I think we've been the dominant team, as you suggested there. Yeah, and going 1-0 up, we're disappointed that it's now level, but we're confident about the second half.
John, thanks very much.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's a real blow for Hearts, isn't it? Having dominated much of that first 45 to be going in all square, Pat.
Absolutely. Peter Houston, we didn't see him there. I think he's wearing a mask tonight. It's not a Halloween mask, it's a robber's mask. Can't believe that. I mean, I thought Hearts was superb. Back to front quite a lot, to be fair. But you know what? It's working for them. We know that Novakovic has been fairly good at them, but they certainly deserved that. And I think we felt in here, certainly, that they deserved that. By this time, great balls coming in from the left, winning the first balls, getting to the knockdowns quite well, and having a large percentage of the play and on possession, obviously, as well.
Yeah, I don't think that United ever got to grips with that kind of attacking left side of Hearts, with Novakovic and Granger coming forward as well. Let's see the second goal here, talking about Johnny Russell's reactions, the striker's reactions in the box. A bit of pinball there, and he reacts the quick. It's as simple as that, and you know, all credit to him. But I mean, I think Hearts have been the better side. I think that left side of the pitch, with Novakovic in particular, he's been excellent. Granger getting forward to support him, and I didn't think that United did enough to stop crosses coming into the box.
Tonight's other League Cup quarter-final is at Ibrox. Rangers against Inverness. It kicked off half an hour after this one. Let's get the latest from Chick.
Well, we've played 21 minutes and it's Rangers 0, Inverness Caley Thistle 0, but it shouldn't be, because this game has ebbed and flowed from end to end. We've had all sorts of chances, perhaps the best of all fell for Rangers. It was bizarre, really, because Aaron Doran was through for Inverness Caley Thistle. It seemed to me he was brought down. Inverness should have had a free kick in the threshold of the box. Rangers played on, rushed to the other end because Steve McLean didn't give that free kick. They created an opportunity. Andy Little had the chance. McLeod played him in. He should have scored, and maybe the pass should have been better from McLeod. Rangers couldn't take that, but this has been an exciting cup tie, I have to say, in front of around 25,000 inside Ibrox. It remains at the moment, though, Rangers 0, Inverness Caley Thistle 0.
The two Lennons have already piloted their teams through to the last four of the competition. Neil and Danny, St Mirren and Celtic, going through in contrasting fashions last night. Let's get the highlights of those games with Jane Lewis.
Aberdeen started this cup tie brightly, but it was St Mirren who went in front. Gary Teal's looping header taken care of, only for the ball to fall to Sam Parkin. But Aberdeen have been known to fight back this season, the long ball causing problems for Craig Sampson, and Scott Vernon took advantage. At 1-1, Aberdeen might have fancied their chances, but a slice of luck for St Mirren. Then a stunning strike from Kenny McLean had the Dons thinking again. St Mirren leading, but you still got the feeling this tie was finely poised. An uneasy clearance and Stephen Thompson so close for the visitors. That chance came in the 90th minute. Would St Mirren rue the miss? Deep into injury time, and Joss McGuinness, Aberdeen's late hero again. So 2-2 and extra time, and both sides had their chances. Stephen Hughes hit the bar, while Lewis Guy might have been the hero for St Mirren. He raced through. Did Jamie Langfield make contact? Well, referee Crawford Allen said no and booked Guy for diving. And so to spot kicks, with St Mirren off the mark, Hughes missed Aberdeen's opening penalty. Successful kicks then traded, and when David Van Zanten scored to put St Mirren 4-2 up, the pressure was on Aberdeen and Cammy Smith. Sampson saved it, and Saints, Mirren that is, go marching on.
Like all cup ties, you know it's going to be a fight right until the end, and we hung in there. I thought the character that the players showed right throughout, and to be up 2-1 for a long period of time and to lose it in the last minute in the way that we did, psychologically that could have had a big effect on them.
Credit St Mirren, they came with a game plan, they battled bravely, and their penalty kicks were excellent.
Celtic were looking to bounce back after back-to-back defeats, and they showed their intent early on. Chris Commons testing Alan Mannus not once, but twice. St Johnstone had beaten Celtic in the SPL last month, but it was one-way traffic in this cup tie, and Chris Commons seemed to be on a one-man mission. Well, almost one man. He did receive a little help from Liam Craig's leg for his opening goal. There was a sense of urgency in Celtic's play, and Saints were barely able to cope as the home side flooded forward. Commons again in a great position to finish off Gary Hooper's pass. St Johnstone were a team in good form coming into this tie. They were unbeaten in their last 8 games, but Celtic and Commons meant business. The Scotland midfielder this time setting up Gary Hooper. Into the second half, and it was as you were really. Celtic pressed forward. And when Stephen Anderson tugged at Tony Watts, referee Bobby Madden said penalty. No prizes for guessing who wanted to take it. Chris Commons made it 4-0 with over half an hour still to play. But still there was no let up for the St Johnstone keeper. He got a slight touch to the ball in. It fell to Charlie Mulgrew, who teased and teased and then scored. Hawaii 5-0, quite appropriate. St Johnstone hadn't really threatened all night, but with 5 minutes remaining, Nigel Hasselbank had a go. It would have been mere consolation though, as Celtic sailed into the semis.
Obviously, when you let the class of Celtic knock it about and run off you, you're in for a long evening, and it proved to be the case.
We didn't want to take this game lightly. We can put it now to the back burner till January when the semi-finals come around. We look forward to the draw. So it's still we're going strong in that competition, and now I want us to start concentrating on the league again.
I was at the game last night. St Johnstone were disappointing. They'd be the first to admit it themselves. They got quite a few basics wrong about the match, but I think we all knew Celtic would be a different kettle of fish from what they were against Kilmarnock at the weekend. Yeah,
I'm sure Steve Lomas, when he saw that Celtic had lost at the weekend, was saying to himself, this makes the game harder in midweek. Of course that happens, you know, and they couldn't afford to. They couldn't really afford to have 2 performances like that in a row, Celtic, so I expected them to come out all guns blazing, and from St Johnstone's point of view, just unfortunately that's who they were playing.
And as for Aberdeen, it's another penalty shootout loss. They've got a horrendous record when games get to that stage.
You know, when you think about Aberdeen and you think about cup competitions, you're absolutely devastated for it. It's just heartbreak timing again, but well done, St Mirren, and good to see that boy with the daft name scoring again. McLean, I really like him, by the way, good player.
Goal at Ibrox, and here's Chick.
26 minutes gone, and it's Inverness County Thistle who take the lead. It was Andrew Shinnie, hot as he is at the moment, and a former Rangers player who took the opportunity, sprung the offside trap, timed his run to perfection, and slotted the ball beyond Neil Alexander. It's Rangers 0, Inverness County Thistle 1.
So 1-0 there, 1-1 here at Tannadice. We'll have the second half for you live shortly. Looking back on that first half, been dominated by Hearts, Craig, and you have to remind yourselves that this guy Callum Patterson is only 17. All his goals have come against Dundee United. This was a real goal poacher's finish, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and I think Peter Houston will be disappointed that you know, the front post area wasn't cut off by the first centre back. When the ball goes out, and for me there's only one place that's going to go, and it's right across the face of the goal, and it should have been cut out at the first post. I don't think the goalkeeper can do anything. He's in a difficult position to come as far out as that, and all credit to Patterson, you know, very much like I said with Johnny Russell with his goal, he anticipates and he gets there first.
Depending on the centre back's attitude though, he should get there. As a wide player, I'm thinking, I can see a gap, and that's the gap I'm going to aim for. It's between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper, and I'm always going to try and get there. There isn't a lot, but you're right, he should be a yard back.
The first centre-back should always cover that area. That's the most dangerous area for the ball to go into. And I don't know who it was, I think it would be Sean Dillon. If you just take 2 steps to his right, he's clearing the ball.
It's not difficult to put together the Dundee United highlights from the first half, but this is it.
Yeah, spot on. It's incredible that he can actually walk in now. And we were all saying that, you know, he goes down 1-0 down and he's probably quite happy about it. And they've done the square root of nothing before this. But if you've got a striker who's sharp, and you don't often talk about it, but see, the toe poke is one of the best skills in the game when you use it right. Because the keepers can't read it, and you can get in front of people. And he just gets a toe onto there. He's willing enough, he's quick and he's sharp and he's zipping up. And by the way, great first touch by Gardy.
Yeah, the thing is, what I thought was quite interesting there, actually, when you see the ball breaking, Johnny Russell is behind the 2 Hearts players. You know, so he's made up, okay, it's maybe only a foot or a couple of feet, but he reacts the quickest, and that's a sign of a good striker. In that penalty box, you have to anticipate, and that's what he's done better than defenders.
And in that moment, Pat, the whole complexion of the game changes.
Well, it did. The complexion changed, you're right, because suddenly Dundee United actually started pushing forward a bit. You could see the confidence grow. Now, I don't think Hearts actually lost any confidence there. I was wondering, would they go inside themselves a bit? No, they didn't. They kept on to the game plan, and they still looked really good after that, as I say, particularly down the left-hand side. But, I like the left-hand side. We talked right at the start about Novikovas. Now, for me, Novikovas has been so far the most skillful player here. It's just beyond belief. If they can get the ball out to him constantly from now on, but you'd said they didn't actually mark in front of Novikovas, so it's maybe partially Dundee United's fault.
I think Peter Houston will have a right blast at his players here at half-time. He knows that they've got out of jail, and I would expect to see a far better performance in the second half by Dundee United. I think they'll get closer to the wide players, they'll get there quicker, and they'll be more physical. Well, they'll have to be, because you can't allow the room that they were getting in the wider area. So I expect a different Dundee United in the second half. Having
squared the game, is it the time to go on the front foot and bring on a Scatchell or a Gary Mackay-Steven and try and build on the fact that they've got this game levelled up?
Well, I think the manager would say the first 10-15 minutes of the second half tells you a hell of a lot, doesn't it? If
it's a different game, Pat, at 1 each than it would have been at 1-0. Oh, yeah. I think at 1-0 down, then Peter Houston's got a fairly, he can say to himself, I make changes. We're behind, we haven't performed well. Now we might just wait, might give them a blast, wait 10 minutes, and if he needs to, he's lucky to have the firepower that he's got on the bench, and I think he will use them if he needs to. And no need for Hearts to change anything, because apart from the Dundee United equaliser, it's all been going really well for them. Yeah, and I'm looking through their team, I don't think there's any failures in the Hearts side, and that's the worrying thing for them. No failures, they look really strong at the back for me. I don't think there's any defenders who have had any poor touches. Even the goal is harsh on them because it's a deflection more than anything else. It's a bit of pinball in the penalty box, isn't it? And but for Johnny Russell's sharpness, Hearts might have got away with it. And even I was looking at Tyrrell in the midfield. We were chatting about before. He's a player I like to watch because he's nice on the ball, but he has weaknesses. In actual fact, he's given the ball away much less than I've seen him in the past. So looking at, I'm not really seeing that many weaknesses. The thing about the Hearts, there's two things. Sorry, United always do better shooting down the hill. That's the first thing. They always seem to do better shooting at the supporters going down the hill. And then there's this disappointment factor that Hearts must be carrying. They think we're the better team in the first half, we didn't get what we deserved. And if it goes against Hearts early in the second half, I think it'll be difficult for the players to pick themselves up. Have United been out-muscled as much as anything else? Well, that's part of it. And we've seen it from the start. If they're going to play the two up front and they're big lads up front, and particularly with Sutton holding it up well, and again his hold-up play's been pretty good. So yeah, that was the game plan, and it has worked. Except for one moment in the game. And also the other thing is just get it wide and get good crosses. And now right at the start of the game, I thought the delivery wasn't great from Hearts, but they picked that up a little bit. And I think there's a lot of questions that have been asked of Dundee United defensively. You say they'll be different in the second half. Teams do like to shoot their favourite direction in the second half. I'll tell you what, they'll have to go something to stop Hearts, because, as I say, all over the place, they're actually working really well. We spoke about Hearts using back to front because of the players they have, and they've certainly done it. Dundee United, with John Daly at the back, don't have that option.